Yo, what's up, y'all? Um, I just sat back and turned on Netflix, and a lot of times when I see sitcoms on Netflix, I'm not too satisfied with them or entertained with them. But I saw Mike Epps' face on the new Netflix series, The Upshaws. So I decided to click on it. And I feel like, the classic black sitcom theme is a lost art, man. And I read an article in the New York Times where Mike Epps shared my same views on that. And The Upshaws is a throwback sitcom with modern views. The new Netflix series harkens back to classic black family comedies, but has contemporary concerns with difficult conversations about love, marriage, and sexuality. Mike Epps isn't sure whether or why black family sitcoms disappeared from television. When Epps, a veteran actor and comic, began his professional career in the 1990s, such shows were primetime staples, with series like Martin, Family Matters, and The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air serving as cultural touchstones for at least one generation. But aside from notable exceptions like Blackish, Everybody Hates Chris, and a few others, the 21st century has been a different story. So when Netflix executives approached him in 2018 about working together on a new scripted series, Epps, who had already done several stand-up specials for the streaming giant, recognized an opportunity to help fill a gap in market with some other comedy veterans. Created by Regina Hicks and Wanda Sykes, The Upshaws, which premieres Wednesday, focus on a black working class family in the Midwest trying to get by through the hard times and the increasingly complicated interpersonal dynamics. A multi-camera comedy set in Indianapolis, the new series follows Benny Upshaw, played by Epps, a charismatic car mechanic, and his blended family, his wife, Regina, played by Kim Fields, their young daughters, and an adult son, and the son he fathered outside his marriage. Sykes plays his sarcastic sister-in-law, Lucretia. Benny is a mirror and reflection of a lot of men, Epps said in recent phone interview. People are going to be able to relate to it, whether they're Benny or they know somebody that's Benny. Having grown up watching sitcoms from the 1970s and the 80s, Epps, who is perhaps best known for his work in the Friday and the Hangover films, noticed a dearth of relatable sitcoms based on black families and friend groups. When he approached Sykes with the basic premise of the Upshaws in mid 2018, he found that she had noticed the same thing. These shows just don't exist anymore. It's either we're doing it really well or we're coming out of slavery or it's black pain, said Sykes, a comic and writer who is also known for her scene-stealing roles in Curb Your Enthusiasm and Blackish. So we knocked around and came up with a new idea. After selling the pitch to Netflix, Epps and Sykes began developing the series as executive producers, with Sykes becoming a showrunner along with Hicks, a writer and producer on Sister Sister, Girlfriends, and Insecure. The Upshaws has plenty of classic sitcom DNA. Benny's love-hate relationship with Lucretia is based on the dynamic between Fred Sanford and Aunt Esther in Sanford and Son, the hit 1970s comedy developed by Norman Lear and Bud Yorkin. Fields is best known as a star of the long-running TV sitcoms Facts of Life and Living Single. But Sykes was also inspired by the free-flowing verbiage of August Wilson's plays Jitney and The Piano Lesson. And she said she wanted to create a comedy that sounds like how people really talk in real life, instead of one that relies too heavily on the dialogue, setup, punchline rhythm of most sitcoms. If the humor skews somewhat an adult theme at times, that's by design, Hicks said. Sometimes our real families aren't always kid friendly, and the jokes aren't for everybody. That's just not how a real family operates. And while the Upshaws is reminiscent of traditional family comedies, the creators also wanted the show to reflect life in the 21st century, navigating difficult conversations about love, marriage, and sexuality. Over the course of the debut season, one of the Upshaws comes out as gay to the rest of the family, a storyline that is particular importance to showrunners who know what it feels like to not be seen and represented, Sykes said. Sykes is a lesbian. We, as black women and gay women, she says, experience it threefold, Hicks added. Be, People coming out to their family always has been an issue in the community, and she thinks it's time to be celebrated as it should be. As with most family comedies, The Upshaws is defined by its relationships. In Fields, the creators found someone who could lend gravity as the no-nonsense matriarch and also go toe-to-toe with the comic powerhouses like Sykes and Epps, Hicks said. The dynamics of that family are what makes it so special. Black family dynamics have been largely absent from TV comedies for much of the last 2 decades. Following the success of The Cosby Show in the 1980s, the 1990s were a golden age of black sitcoms, with 15 primetime black comedy series to choose from at one point. In 1997, Martin and In Living Color were among the first breakout hits for the then fledgling Fox network, and now the defunct UPN network, looking to follow in Fox's footsteps, didn't begin to gain traction until it carved out a niche with shows like Moesha and Malcolm and Eddie and the Hughleys. But most of the 90s hits were off the air within the first few years of the new millennium. The era effectively ended when UPN and the WB ceased operations in September of 2006 to form the CW. A lot of black shows built these networks up, and when they got rid of the shows, they replaced them with the white shows or whatever shows that came along, Epps said. Hicks noted that many black sitcoms ended as part of a broader decline in multi-camera comedies on network television. A lot of multi-cams left the air, and I think that's when they started coming back. And I think when they started coming back, we just weren't the first up and weren't the ones coming back. But in the streaming era, there's more opportunity for all comedy across the board. Netflix has been making a push into this category of late. Last summer, it announced that it was adding 7 past popular black sitcoms to the service, including Moesha and Sister Sister. And last month, it premiered Dad Stop Embarrassing Me, a multi-cam comedy starring Jamie Foxx as the overwhelmed father of a teenage daughter. I've been in the business pitching shows for years, Epps said. Netflix is a company that finally understands that African Americans have big crossover audiences. When the COVID-19 pandemic shut down production on the Upshaws in Los Angeles last March, the show had filmed 4 of the first 5 episodes in front of a live studio audience. Production resumed in October with strict coronavirus protocols that included daily testing for many cast and crew, and wrapped just over a month later without any COVID outbreaks or delays for the remaining of the episodes. The studio audience was replaced by laugh tracks and live on-set laughter from the crew. At the table reads, Regina would just reiterate, hey, look guys, do your work, go home, be safe, let's keep everybody safe. But I'll be honest with you, I was checking everybody's Instagram. I was like, okay, let me see who's out and about. It was also weird acting, she added, because you look out at the crew and you see everybody with PPE on. Excuse me, I said PPP. PPE is personal protection equipment, like masks or whatever. And you're like, damn, this is crazy. While the writers decided not to include the pandemic for logistical and practical reasons, a number of topical references helped to ground the show in the present. In one episode, Benny said that his blood pressure is still high because of the killing of George Floyd. After a year that has been largely characterized by loss and has seen a number of acclaimed films and series about historical black grief and trauma, the creators of the Upshaws sought to tell more joyful stories because, in Hicks' words, we are definitely a multi-layered people, and we're just not, and we're not just the past. Sykes elaborated, I think the reason why there's so many shows focused on the past is because we're trying to figure out how we're in the situation we are in now. But we are clear on what happened and what's happening. So it's not like we don't want to look at those stories that they aren't important. We're just saying we need to laugh. We deserve to laugh. And we're comedy people. This is our talent, she added. This is our gift. Epps said, at the core, the Upshaws is designed to show the world that black people enjoy life too. And black people are resilient. We have problems that everybody else has, and we know how to laugh through our pain. We have fun. We love each other, no matter who we are and what we are. Man, that was an awesome article, man. Like I said, I just watched the first episode so far. And before I even went to the second episode, man, I said I had to stop and make a video about this, man. It's the first episode was so awesome that I know the rest of the episodes are gonna be good. And Mike Epps, Wanda Sykes, they are two comedy giants in black comedy, and I'm proud of them, and I enjoy seeing them put together a show that is relevant and relatable. And as a man, as a father who is estranged from his kids and his kids' mom, I feel a sense of representation with the show, because Mike Epps is trying to, his character Benny is trying to co-parent in a healthy way. He's navigating fatherhood, and the women in the show are navigating co-parenting and motherhood. It's a wonderful dynamic, man, and it's good to see it in a comedy form that's honest and raw. Much respect to Wanda Sykes, Mike Epps, and Regina Hicks, and Kim Fields, everybody who's involved with this show. And I hope that it goes for more than one season. I will be watching the rest of the episodes of the first season, but I know this show is going to be a success, man. Peace.